What's going on, guys? No guys here. Welcome back to another video tutorial. I got a penalty tutorial today. I'm explaining everything from scratch, but more importantly, just like these clips, I want you to start shooting penalties like as you can see on the screen right now. Penalties where the goalkeeper can't even save it, even if he dives the right way. That's the whole idea. I'm going to explain everything in this video, what's changed in penalties in general, how to green time your penalties, how to change the direction, how to always hit the frame of the goal. Everything will be explained in this video tutorial. This is actually very easy to follow, so stay tuned to the end. I'll be explaining everything in depth, just so you get a basic understanding. But anyway, without further ado, let's get straight on to the tutorial. The first thing you need to realize is you now have a circle on the screen. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, head movement still exists in the game. Unfortunately, as you can see, Royce's head, if I look to the right, as you see his head's looking to the right. If I look to aim to the left, his head's looking to the left. So this is the first problem, as you can imagine, because if I aim to the right hand side, then I change the left hand side again. As you can see, Royce's head, so watch Royce's head here. If I aim to the right, then I aim to the left, as you can see, his head changes direction. So that's the first problem. Apparently they're changing this, we don't know, but let's just assume that exists for now. So that's the first problem. What that means is if you aim one way, your opponent's going to see where you're looking. Now the second thing that's changed now, there's now a circle on the screen. Basically, to aim this circle is actually really hard. For example, to aim in the top right corner, like here, it's actually really hard. If you try this yourself, it's actually really hard to aim in the top right corner. Like as you can see, I'm trying to get it in the top right corner, and it's extremely hard. It's actually really hard to do that. So that's the first thing you need to understand. So keeping it in the frame of the goal is really hard, but don't worry, I've got a method explaining you how to always keep it in the frame of the goal. The second thing is now there's a second circle. So when you take your shot, there is now a second circle. As you can see, there's an outer ring. Now what this outer ring is a deviation zone. So if, for example, I hit a low powered shot, the outer circle is very small. That basically keeps the accuracy and retains the accuracy. However, with the more power that I increase, the outer circle increases as well, and that means that the shot can deviate within the outer circle range. So the key is basically, in my opinion, is you want to tap the shot. Now, if you tap the shot, obviously you lose a bit of the power, but you see the problem is even if you use full power, for example, there's a big chance that the shot's going to deviate completely away. And even then, look, with full power, there's still not that much difference in the shot power. So I would say the key is you just want to keep the circle as small as possible. Now the way to obviously hit it full power and keep the circle small is by green timing it. That's the best way of doing it, but I'll get onto that very soon. So so now you understand obviously how the circle works, how you move it, and obviously now you understand, for example, the more power you put, the more the outer circle increases, the more the shot will deviate from the selected zone. The second thing you need to understand is when you take your shot and you aim it and you change direction, once you're doing a run up, the outer circle increases. So let's say, for example, you aim at the bottom right and then you want to aim to the bottom left. As you can see, the circle is now increasing the outer circle. So what this means is if you aim at the direction first and you aim somewhere else, the deviation zone is going to increase even more. So what that means is if you want to do, for example, a high powered shot in the bottom right, but then you want to change direction, there's a big chance you can actually miss your shot. So what that means is you're basically stuck. But don't worry, I've devised a method to basically keep it into the frame of the goal. So now I'm going to explain to you how to keep it to the frame of the goal. Now, basically how it works is, if, for example, let's say, now I want you to focus on Royce's setup. I suppose you can say feet. Now, basically, if I aim at the bottom right, and then I change to the bottom left immediately, as you can see, I move all the way to the left hand side. But focus on Royce's feet again. If I aim to the bottom right, but then very last minute I change to the left hand side, it barely moves. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to show you again. So if, for example, I'm going to aim to the bottom right, I'm going to change direction very late. See, I'm holding all the way left on the analog stick. You see how it barely moved? You see how the direction only went to about here. So you see, for example, again, I'm going to aim to the bottom right. At the very last minute, I'm going to change direction, aim all the way to the left. Can you see it barely moves? So basically, obviously if the further you hit it at this point, the less it's going to move, and obviously the earlier you hit it, the more it's going to go further away. So you want to find the sweet spot. The sweet spot's about here. Now where that sweet spot translates in the movement is when Royce takes the second step. So the sweet spot is here. So just watch the feet. 1, 2. That second spot is when you, as soon as his second 1, 2, as soon as his second step is taken, is when you want to change direction. So watch. I'm going to aim to the bottom right. Watch his feet. 1, 2. Now I'm going to change direction. Now, did you see that? Now, I don't know if you looked on the left-hand side, right? I'm actually moving my left analog stick all the way to the far-hand side, but it's because I'm doing it at that certain point, the shot only stays within the frame of the goal. So it's basically like a cheat to stay within the frame of the goal. So watch. I'm aiming bottom right. 1, 2. Aim it all the way to the left-hand side. Can you see? So basically, once you basically get used to this, it's going to come to a situation where you aim at one point, 1, 2, then even if you hold to the far left-hand side, it's not going to go outside the frame of the goal. It's going to stay within the frame, and that's kind of what you want. So watch, I'm going to do it properly now. 1, 2, then I'm going to aim at bottom left. As you can see, I'm waiting for the second step. Then I'm aiming it to the bottom left. As you can see, I'm losing left. I'm moving the left analog stick outside the frame of the goal, but it's always staying into the frame of the goal. So look, I'm focusing. Watch, 1, 2, second step. I'm aiming it to the left hand side. But look, look, my left analog stick. Look how far I'm aiming. I'm aiming over here, but because I'm hitting it at the second step, the furthest it will go is at that point. So that's kind of the cheat point, if that makes sense. You can do it on the other side as well. So I'm gonna aim bottom left. So watch his voices 1, 2, then I move all the way to the right hand side. So that's the cheat. So basically you want to, at the second step, you want to then change direction. So that's the cheat to always keep it on target. Now the last method is, how do you time your shot? Well, it's actually relatively easy. Now, as you know, time shooting is much more difficult this year, and free kicks and penalties, there's a different sweet spot for each and every time. Now for penalties, the sweet spot is when Royce's left foot, or the player's left foot, or the weaker foot of the player is on the left hand side of the ball. So I want to explain to you. It's about now. So when the players, just to make this clear, it's not the foot that he's shooting with, it's the opposite foot. So obviously if you're standing on the right hand side, it will be the weaker foot getting planted here. So as you can see, the left foot, as soon as that gets planted on the left hand side of the ball, that's when you want to time it. So again, we're going to go here, waiting for it. Just before is when you want to time it. Then once you kind of practice it a lot, you're going to find the sweet spot, and you're basically going to hit it green, or you're going to hit it light green. Light green is basically a bit on the early side, but it's still very accurate. Now, what does green time shot does? If you hit it with a lot of power, and then you time it perfectly, you then reduce the zone. As you can see, even with a lime or a light green, it still reduces that. As you can see, if you focus just now, I just want you to look at the circle for a second. Just focus on the circle. Watch the outer circle, right? I just want to focus on that. As you can see, it's quite big. But when I time it, the circle reduces in size. So even if you hit it light green and you tap it, it's still going to make it fairly accurate. You see that? You see that, how accurate it becomes? So you just want to aim, and then you want to hit a green time shot. Then it'll become really accurate. Now we're going to get to the final bit. Now this is going to be extremely difficult to explain, but this is for the more advanced users, should I say. Now if you stay for this tutorial this long, chances are you're probably my viewer and you like my videos. So I'm going to show you basically the best and the most accurate method of doing this. So you want to combine basically aiming it, taking a second step, aiming it again, and then taking a green time shot. It's extremely hard to do it while I'm speaking, but I'm going to explain to you. It's going to be broken down into basically a 3-phase system. So that's the base. So the first phase is basically taking a first initial aim, then taking the first initial aim, and then waiting for the second step. The second phase would be aiming the second time. So if you combine step 1 and step 2, that would be step 1 and step 2, and step 3 would be timing the shot. So just to break this down and make it easier for you to understand, because I know a lot of you guys are visual viewers. The first phase is, now this is going to sound difficult, but trust me, it's not. It's aim and second step. So phase 1 is aim and then second step. That's all you want to do. Just watch the. So the key is with this, even if you do no other steps, you're always going to score. So even if you just do nothing at all, you're still going to hit the ball on target. The second step is, I suppose you can say, the one where you take the second aim. So this is the second aim. So phase 1, you're going to aim it, wait for the second step. Phase 2 is when you change direction. So basically phase 2 is where you aim it the second time. So phase 1, we're going to aim it first initially, then we're going to wait for the second step, then phase 2 comes in, we're going to aim it the second time. Then phase 3, the final step, is the timing of the shot. So basically that's going to be really hard, me saying it and doing it, so bear with me if I make a mistake. So you're going to aim it, wait for the second step, aim it again, and then hit a green time shot. Once you combine that all together, that's going to be the best way of scoring. That's going to be the most unpredictable way of scoring, especially in foot champs. So obviously, you're going to, as I said, it's really difficult to do it while speaking, but as you can see, it's very accurate. Now, trust me, to do this in game, I know it looks difficult now, but trust me, it's really easy. Once you get used to it, it's very simple. Then it's going to come to a point in foot champs where just by your thumb. Now, I know how to aim at the bottom right without looking at the circle. I know. Now, I don't know if you got the control in your eye, in your hand. Sorry, in your eye, in your hand. If you're doing this penalties live while you're watching this, you're going to figure out there's a sweet spot on the left analog stick. Now, if you hold your left analog stick in this direction, you're going to feel the tension in your thumb. So basically, what I mean by that, now this is going to sound absolutely insane, but my thumb, I can feel the traction on my thumb at this point. So there's a kind of, so I know basically at this point, so if I close my eyes, imagine I'm closing my eyes now, I know this is basically the bottom right corner, just by feeling it. So basically, when you get into a game, let's say the circle's not there, you'll know where to aim, you'll know when to shoot, when to take the second step, and basically everything will just come to you naturally. Basically, that's what you want. And basically, that's basically the penalty tutorial. So again, just to recap, phase 1, take the initial aim, wait for the second step, phase 2, and then phase 3. What I forgot to mention in the clips is, basically, after you've completed phase 1, 2, and 3 in your time and your shots, you want to start increasing your power. Now, what I said in the beginning of the clip is you don't want to increase power, but now since you understand it, increase your power. Don't worry about the deviation, because once you green time your shots, so if you power your shot up in phase 1, then in phase 3 you time your shot, don't forget the deviation will decrease. So that's how you create these almost unsavable type shots. That's why in some of these clips, the goalkeeper can't save it because the shot is too powerful, and if you time the shot even light green, as you can see in some of these instances, the shot still goes in. That's why it's a very OP method. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.